TV. Innovative content, global audience.
Hello, good morning, viewers. Yes, it's Monday, and you know that feelings that comes with Monday. Another new week and happy new week to you. I'm reaching you live from our SRTV studio in London, the world's capital city. My name is Princess, and you're welcome to the program Inside Nigeria. Today, we'll put our focus on our new ministers as I'm here live. The swearing in is also going on as we speak live right now. What are your expectations of these new ministers? And are you okay? And we saw that just barely hours to the swearing in that is taking place now. The president did done some reshuffling and, of course, switching here and there. Are you okay with this? Anyway, the prayer is that our new ministers will come and turn everything around. On that note, I have with me this morning a public affairs analyst, no other than Mr. Emobo Solomon. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you and good morning to Nigerians.
Yes, nice to have you with us here live on the show.
How
are you today and how is Nigeria this morning?
Well, we can say Nigeria is going forward by the grace of God. The very first statement I would like to establish here is that Nigerians need magic at this moment.
They need magic?
At this moment.
What can if I'm thinking that magic, but we are not magicians, so
what I'm trying to say here is that we are at the peak of issues around this country now. And you can imagine the level of suffering, the pressure on the Nigerians. The citizens are not finding life so easy at the moment. And what we need now, anybody that has come to any public office at this moment must be somebody who will perform the magic. We don't want, this is not time to try to make a trial. This is a time to be very serious with everything that must be done in the magic. So anybody that is appointed, for example, as the inauguration is going on, they must be people that are going to do what the Nigeria expects at this moment. Because a lot of things are not working fine right now. And you know, I look at the antecedents of Mr. President, and by the virtue of that, I have been an ardent supporter of Bola and Tinubu from onset. So we want to say to Mr. President Bola and Tinubu that Nigerians need magic at this moment.
Wow, on that note, we saw that we know that the swearing in it's actually live now. It's going on as we speak. Now, what do you think about the reshuffling just some barely hours to this swearing in?
Well, if you look at the man that was nominated for the Minister for Youth Affairs, you look at his age, and you look at the UN Charter.
Nigerians did have issues with that when that particular day. Twitter was the gog. A lot of social media was the gog. People were not very happy with that decision of the president. Do you think that is the reason for this?
Of course, I think we must give kudos to Mr. President, and we want to believe that there was a kind of external influence that must have led to that nomination at first. Because looking at the age of that, we're talking about Abubakar Momo from Edo State. That is Isako East, Edo State, a two-time House of Rep member. Now, he's an engineer, okay? By the virtue of his professionalism, we can say that the appointment at the moment, the reshufflement is in order. But to have him as the man that will be the youth affairs minister, you know it was not right. If you look at the UN Charter, the age that you can say for a youth is 21 years old. You know, so when you are going to have somebody who is already at his 70s to be a youth minister, It is not in order, That is why I said that must be an external influence on the president. And we want to make a caution to everybody that is around Mr. President. Please, when you are going to influence Mr. President, it should be such that it's going to be, affect the nation positively, because a lot of things are going down at the moment. So anybody that is around Mr. President must be someone who is going to aid him, to lead well. And at the end of the day, Nigerians will say, yes, we have had at least a president for the first time.
Okay, we see how that goes. But now, looking at a critical look at these people that are coming on board now, we have some very sensitive key ministries. But let's look at
Of
them
course.
generally. Let's look at them generally now. What do you think should be the expectations of Nigerians at this point in time? We know that a lot of, like the labor and the organized labor already laid down a blueprint awaiting the new minister today. Now, what are the expectations? What are your expectations what do you think is the expectations of Nigerians today? Because they're actually coming on board today.
The expectation of Nigerians remains that all of them must deliver in their various ministry. That's the primary expectation of Nigerians. Now, when the nomination was done before their portfolios were assigned to them, there were a lot of national suggestions here and there. The likes of the former governor of Rivers State, that's the person of Nyesom Wike.
Continue.
That the expectation of Nigerians is that all of them should do well as they assume their office, as they resume their office. They must be very focused, determined, and they must be in touch with Mr. President to give reports. And everything that is going on in every ministry should be made public. Nothing should be made hidden. We want to see everything that is going on at the moment. Like I told you before, that Nigerians are expecting that everything is working very fast at the moment, right from the education sector to the transportation sector to the health sector. Every sector at the moment must be very effective. We don't have any time to wait again. That's why, the elastic limit of this nation is almost exceeded at the moment. The patience of Nigeria is getting exceeded at the moment. So we want anybody that is coming on board to be very serious. This is not time for personal aggrandizement. This is not time for looting. This is not time to sleep too much as a minister. This is a time to make sure that you are always on the drawing board, to make sure Mr. President succeed. This is not time for play. So every minister that is coming on board must know that he is responsible for the impact, positive impact of his ministry on Nigerians. And Nigerians are going to speak out. Nigerians are going to speak out. I want to employ Mr. President to monitor all his trustees very well, all his ministers very well, to ensure that they are working. Anyone that is not working should be fired immediately.
Wow, well said. We know that Nigerians, indeed, like you said, I am even thinking at this point, no elastic limit. It's like everything is gone. We are just there floating. So at this point, I believe, like what you said, we need a miracle, we need a magic immediately. So as they're coming on board, no time for chit chat or asking so many questions. What was the previous arrangement here and all that? We just want them to hit the ground running. That is the expectations of Nigerians. And of course, a lot of people are even having issues as well. For the likes of Wike, they feel like Wike should not be the minister of FCT. There's been these issues when it comes to that slot, that position, FCT minister. The Northern group will always say somebody from that region should occupy that seat. Now, what's your take on that?
I think that FCT is within the coverage of the North Central. Okay, now the Northerners want to maintain their dominance on the FCT. That is the reason why they always agitate that the Minister of FCT should be somebody from the North. But Mr. President, be as it may, has found it that it is not compulsory that it should be done that way. And he has tried to do a change for the first time. That I think that we are having somebody from the South mounting that office, FCT, as a minister. Now, you know, like I told you from the beginning, that when the nomination were made, you could find out that there were so many national suggestions as it relates to portfolios. And the like of Nyesom Wike, a very dogged politician, and his workaholic, is a developer. You understand? So we were not really expecting that Wike should be confined within FCT. We wanted Wike to work for the whole nation, you know. So, but I don't know, within the prerogative of Mr. President, he has done that. But if I have the opportunity to talk to Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I will plead with him that he equally reshuffle that office, bring Wike to a critical ministry like power, where we need somebody who is going to work this out.
Having issues now. This is the same argument on ground. A lot of people feel somebody like some Wike that have done so well in the state, will come and do maybe justice to the health sector, the education. When we talk about education, we'll talk about power, we'll talk about transportation. These are some of the arguments on ground.
Now, can I come in?
Sure.
Now, listen, if you look at Wike critically, only that name, Nyesom Wike, as a minister of a critical ministry, it sends a lot of signals across to every department in that ministry. And any affiliating organization or department to that ministry, they understand that the man that is coming on board is not somebody you are going to toy with. And if you are going to work with him, you must deliver 100%. Wike is known for excellence by the virtue of what he has done, his antecedent in Rivers State as a former governor. And bringing Wike to a critical infrastructure and ministry such as power, we were expecting a huge turnaround. And we are talking about development. You cannot talk about development without power. A lot of things are attached to power. The ministry of power. That was why the suggestion had been there, that we were even expecting that Mr. President is going to give that ministry just freely to Wike to handle, because you can see that there are a lot of demons who are so unrighteous since the days of the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, when $16 billion was embezzled on power without result. So we were expecting that somebody like Nyesom Wike, former governor of Rivers State, will be, assigned that portfolio. But I don't know the interest of Mr. President to bring Wike to FCT minister. Otherwise, to us, Nigerians are feeling like Wike is confided. Wike is not somebody you confide within, a small geographical territory. We expected Wike to walk across the nation. You understand? So, and like I told you, what is development without power? What is development without power? The man that is mounting that office today, I think, what's the name of this? He is a former deputy governor of CBN, right? And he's an accountant. What is he going to do in power? That's why we want to play with everybody that is around Mr. President. They should they should support him positively. They should influence him positively. Because I know personally that man, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a man that always wants things to be done well. So people around him should influence him positively so that we can have the best from his administration. Wike shouldn't have been confided within the FCT.
alone. Yes, that is the argument is
Yes,
gonna and that goes. We do hope sincerely that also the president will hear the pleas of Nigerians, because a lot of people are saying the same thing you're saying, that Wike is somebody that is you should put in a place that the whole country will benefit, because they believe
of
in
course.
ability to yes to work. Now let's look at some of these portfolios, and let's look at some of these ministries. We have pending issues, talking about labor issues. Where we have pending issues with the health sectors, where you see strike here and there coming from the resident doctors. We have pending issues with ASU. Then we have pending issues with power, like you did say, and even transportation, that is works. Now, some of these ministers, these people in charge of these ministries, what do you think they can do differently? Because these are the key sectors, these are the key ministries where we have been lacking as a nation.
Well, I am of the school of thought that to be appointed as a minister to such critical infrastructure, it means that you have antecedents that have proven that over time. And if you're a minister of works, I think we have Umahi as a minister of works, the former governor of Mboy State. I think he has proven it. He has demonstrated it in his home state. So when we saw His Excellency Umahi as a minister for works, we felt very comfortable as Nigerians. That is what we are expecting. The same replica about Nyesom Wike, former governor of River State. Right now, those people that are assigned those office, they have to carry out their own research immediately. They should look at, such ministries in Western world. How do they operate? How are they achieving their results? They should carry out their research immediately, so that they begin to do things well accordingly. Because
Differently,
you can
I've seen so far.
differently, yes. Now but I must tell you this. I must tell you this. To me, I am not of the school of thought that salary increment, minimum wage, and the rest of that will salvage the challenges of workers in this country. I'm not
So
of that school of thought. Now,
based,
if we have,
what do
let
you
me
think would
let
be
me.
the situation?
I have done a little research about, for example, removal of subsidy. And I
Okay.
found out that subsidy could be removed when there are social services renderable to citizens. When you have all these social services available and you make a pronouncement of removal of subsidy, it will be in order. Right now, inflation is still going up. A lot of businesses are shutting down today. I'm a businessman. I've shut down some. I think I'm only left to one that is going now. And
Okay.
as I speak to you, the inflation, increment, the market increment in my own personal business today had made me to shut down our operation today. As I'm talking to you now, there's no work today at my, where I'm working in my investment area there. So what is leading to that is this fluctuation and this hike of the inflation. So when you say they should give you minimum wage, if they give you minimum wage and all these things are happening, you at the end of the day you achieve nothing. So I'm thinking that the labor should target issues, critical issues, where they talk about control of pricing, price control, the trading system, how they monitor it. Those are the issues that labor should come into. They're talking about the health sector. I think they see some of their contemporaries in the Western world. They see some of their colleagues that travel out of this country.
And they do come here a lot for medicals. We know that it has been a norm in Nigeria that
You understand?
politicians will always go abroad for medical trips. Now, what's your advice to this minister of the new minister? Because we're looking at critical sectors, critical that is affecting Nigerians, and we want to see progress moving forward.
The fact about it is that how are you going to stop that without the legislators? You can't stop that without legislation. If you want to stop public office holders, such as ministers and all of that, or I mean senators and the rest, traveling abroad for medical, for medical treatment, you will have to transmit that into legislation. Once you are succeeded in doing that, you cannot handle it. And they know that they don't want to stop receiving their medical services from the foreign countries. So if you tell them to go to the Senate and begin to pass a bill stopping them from going abroad to go and receive their medical attention treatment, they will not want to do it. These guys, although they understand the body languages of Nigerians at the moment, but they are still doing a lot of things so wrongly. You could see our Senate president announcing when he was unconscious that he was online,
Yes,
on air.
yes,
For us to enjoy our holiday, a token has been sent to you by the I think, yes, of the house. He never realized, but when he realized, I withdraw that statement. That is to tell you that they understand, or they understood what Nigerians are going through, and they understood the feelings of Nigeria at the moment. They understood. They knew what Nigeria is going through at the moment. You understand? So they want to do a lot of things underground. But that is not what we are looking for now. You see, I want to refer to Nancy Pelosi, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives of the United States of America. During her inauguration, he made a speech, and I think I could remember the statement very well. He said, public service is a noble calling. Therefore, leaders must serve with hearts full of love. Now, when there's no love in leadership, you could see a lot of things going wrong. But when there's love in leadership, you see a lot of things going right. I've always said that in Africa, Nigeria in particular, you have public office holders. They don't value life, they value money. If you value life, you are going to do those things that support the well-being of the nation. But when you value money, you keep looting, you want to find a way when there is a project going on, how you are going to siphon the fund and a lot of things. Those are the things you keep thinking about. And at the end of the day, you still waste all of these things. Because you will loot them. By the time you pass on, your children are going to waste all of these things. At the end of the day, what's supposed to be a development to the nation, it has just been wasted.
yes, that is true. That is the more reason our leaders should focus. Hello, network issues, I guess. And that is the more reason our leaders should focus on doing the work. Now we have new ministers. They're swearing they're doing the inauguration is ongoing. We're really hoping that we see something different. I'm having a little bit of network issues with Mr. Mobile, but hopefully we hope that the network will allow us to hear more from him. We're really hoping, for instance, the Minister of Power, Adeboye. Yes, that is a yes, I'm correct. Adebayo. I think he can really implement new law. There's something about these positions. You see people coming in, taking up from where the other people stop. They don't want to build on legacies. This has been a major problem. I was going to throw that question to our guest, but we're having network issues with him. I was going to throw that question to him, where you see our new ministers now, they will come and they won't build on the legacies left behind by the other person. They just want to come, and before you know, they start from scratch, and they don't really have this time. Like Mr. Mobo rightly said, We need a magic. We need magician. Whatever they will do to turn themselves to magicians, do magic. That is what Nigerians are craving for at this time. We don't need people that will come and say, okay, they start to implement new laws, and that takes time. Before you know, they will come and spend how many years doing nothing. So it's best you look at what has been put on the ground before and you build on it. Is there something you will take out and add to the rest, not just trashing everything because you're a new minister and of course you just want to impress people, which at the end of the day nothing is being done. We do hope that Mr. Mobile will join us again because I have a lot of questions for him this morning. Anyway, we'll go on a quick break now. When we return, viewers, this is our ministers we're talking about. It's another 4 years, so we need to look at some of these issues very critically. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
SRTV. Innovative content, global audience.
It's politics time on SRTV with your one and only host, Dr. Chris.
We all must be part of the governance. So join Daddy Chris every day 8 p.m. to dissect on the political situation in Nigeria.
Hello viewers, and welcome back from that quick break. This is Inside Nigeria, and of course the focus is on the new ministers today. Yes, we have new ministers. That means a lot of things, a lot of sectors will now kickstart immediately. Like I guess I have my guest. I don't know, we're having a little bit of network issues. My guest did say that we need magicians. Yes. Now, when we look at, I want to talk about that power, Ministry of Power, because I believe that when you have constant power, electricity, people we tend to, we have a lot of self-employed people. They don't even look at the government. They are just doing their own thing. Okay, let's look at the people now. The people doing even the small businesses. We have people selling ice blocks. I know people that don't necessarily need to go and look for a job or bother the government. They need power. We have the mechanics, we have the carpenters, we have the saloon woman, we have the gen repairer. These are the people that need the light. Everybody needs a light, a constant electricity to function, whether in your home or in your job place. This is the reason why the new minister of power, Adeboye Adebayo, we need to sit up. The electricity issue, the power issue in Nigeria is appealing, is appalling, and a lot of people are very angry, and that is why they felt like Wike would have been the best person for that position. You know, Wike is a no-nonsense person. He goes there, if you don't do the job, you get fired. And that is what we want every minister, the new appointees should apply that principle. You bring people for a contract, they don't want to do it, they are sluggish, you take them out, you bring people in. Talking about roads, have you seen the rate of accidents we have yearly on Nigerian roads? The roads are bad. The roads are major federal government roads. And this is the reason why we're calling on this key. We'll look at power, works. We look at power, we look at works, we look at the health sector, and then we look at labor, something that has to do with Nigerian workers. And then we look at even petroleum, because if we have our own, look at the subsidy removal. Now the federal government is now giving out 5 billion to states, which I know, I'm aware that some state also, already started sharing these palliatives. The question is, how many people will these palliatives even get to at the end of the day? Will they get to the right people, or we're going to see the same thing we're used to before now? So these are some of the issues. Now, we think that when every sector, when the institutions are there, the sectors are working, it just helps people to have a very good life. Sometimes you don't need to depend on the government so much if you know you can do much for yourself. It's when you cannot do much, at the end of the day, you have to rely on the government, even though it's their duties to do these things. But let's even look at these palliatives. How many people are going to get these funds? And after getting this fund, things are still very expensive. You spend the money on these same things, and then you're back to normal. So it's even better. I used to tell, I used to say on my shows, the federal government should let give people teach people how to fish, not start giving them fish. And the end of the day, they eat that fish and they are stranded again. We really do hope that these new ministers, these new people that are, as we are here, the ceremony is going on in Abuja, we do hope sincerely that they are going to sit up. Something different from what we've been seeing. You see a minister, the other time there was a protest in Abuja. Now, this is the from Apo mechanic village where all Apo spare parts seller, they did accuse the minister then, the previous minister, that they paid for a land that they've paid for so many years. So from one minister, from one tenor to another, they keep telling them, the minister did not sign, the minister has not approved. You see, so that is why I'm saying, why not, when you enter an office, why not look into things that you already have on the table? Look at the ones pending, work on them, then you move on to new ones. You can't just come and try the ones that are pending and then you move on to new ones. Meanwhile, these new ones will take you time to build on, and before you know, the 4 years is gone. What are you supposed to do? People still come and then they keep telling you, these old ones are not working. No, I think Nigerians, we are the place where the people should now know that at this point there is no elastic limit. Like I said, I told our guests, no, we are not even at that point. We have gone past that point. We need people to work, and I'm really hoping that these new ministers, they will not just come and start moving around, pacing around, asking questions, but they will hit the ground running. And we Nigerians also were encouraged to put hands on deck to help assist in any way we can. This is Nigeria we're talking about. It's a change we all want to see. And I have my guest back, but I think we're still having a little bit of network issues here. And I know that the Labour already put a blueprint down for the new minister. I'm really do hoping, because Nigerian workers are going through a lot. A minimum wage that is 30,000 naira. I don't see the hope, a future with that minimum wage. And then you expect these people to go home, even if you ask them to work just 3 days a week without help, and with the palliatives without help. Nigerian workers are the stronghold of that nation. So I am thinking that the new minister will need to do more. They have meetings upon meetings upon meetings, and at the end of the day, we are that same circle. 30,000 naira minimum wage. A nation cannot move forward. It's slavery. So we need to do more as a nation. Thank God we have our guest back. I'm going to add him immediately. Mr. Mobile, can you hear me? Okay, I think we're still having network issues with him. And then another critical sector I want to look at is that of, let's look at the education in Nigeria. It's so poor, it's so bad. Yesterday, I saw a classroom. You would not believe that that kind of classroom is in Nigeria as a country. It is pathetic. It is sad. It is painful as well. Now, you see, a lot of these ministers, I'm thinking that maybe there should be a law that, okay, now you're a minister of, for instance, you're a minister of health, for health, and let there be a law that you cannot go outside the country for medicals. Your children cannot go outside the country for medicals. Just maybe that will help. Now, I was thinking that our new president, I was thinking that law would really go a long way, because if you ask them not to go, this is your sector, this is your ministry, you have to make it work. So you don't have to keep going abroad. Maybe, just maybe, they will not see the importance, the value of this sector and how they are affecting us as a people and as a country. You can't say, okay, you're in charge of education and your children are not in the country schooling. No, they have to be in the country. They have to school here. They have to go through the process. And now when we have issues with ASU strike, the other time the students were at home for over 8 months, where another country, that would be a full session for them, a full year for them, for you to go another level, you are home. And then we keep having these reoccurrent issues with, ASU strike, the federal government not meeting their demands. How do we continue like this? So I'm thinking that these are some of the issues that the new minister should look at critically. These students are the future. They are the future today. So you can't say they should be in school for 10 years for a course of 4 years. And then some of these issues should be looked into like immediately. And then we look at, I talked about our power already, I talked about the works, I talked about the health sector and education. We have a whole lot of them that you need to look into. When you look into this sector, you find out that you don't necessarily, you Nigerians are strong people. You don't necessarily need to do everything for Nigerians to be okay. It's just for you to do the basic, and that is what we are looking at today on the show, the basic. Now, the ministers are coming on board. We are looking at the basic things for every Nigerian human being. We're looking at the things that will be easy for them to even access their own income. And at the end of the day, everybody is at peace. You won't say, okay, they are complaining or they are groaning too much, they are lamenting too much. No, because they need power, they need the road. Okay, look at the farmers. Sometimes it's not very easy. I saw the Abraka road this morning. It was horrible. It was just heartbreaking. And then most of the farmers were also complaining that they cannot even access the main road. They can't bring their stocks, their products to the road they produce to the road for buyers, for these people to buy. And so for that reason, in most of their farm produce, they're just there and they're just wasting away. These are things that if people use, they spend so many months cultivating, and at the end of the day, they are not able to access other people in the parts of the world just to sell out. Now, this critical sector are the sectors we want the government, the new ministers to look into as a matter of urgency. And we do hope that when they come on board, like our guest said, that they will come with full speed, full force to hit the ground running. And at the end of the day, Nigerians will look back after 4 years and have every reason to say, okay, there was a change. Indeed, there is a change. Mr. Mobile, welcome back. Can you hear me now? Hello, Mr. Mobile, are you there? Okay, we're still having network issues. Network is not very friendly this morning with Mr. Mobile. Mr. Mobile, can you hear me now? You can hear me. Wow. Network is just disturbing us this morning, but we do hope that we'll wrap up soon, because can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yes, I was going to throw a question. I was going to ask you a question before that network issue. Can you hear me? Mr. Mobile, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Now let's look at one issue that has been that has been there for years.
I can hear you. Yes.
Yes, I am saying that sometimes when these ministers come on board, these new appointees, they come on board, you find that they don't tend to build on old legacies. They just want to break everything, start afresh. Meanwhile, they don't have the time to do all this because they have limited time. And before you know, the time is fast spent, the days are gone, years into years, and they are out of offices, and another person comes, they start the same thing. Now, what's your take on this? Because I did know that in FCT, for instance, you see a lot of ministers coming, destroying things, building, and it's taking us time.
I think you know, ministers come how they are expected to operate. The truth about it is that they are supposed to build on the legacy they met or grant. That is what you call development. What you are meeting on ground, you build, you add on it. And anybody that is coming as your successor, we add on what you have done. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
I can hear you, Mr. Mobile. Go ahead.
So Many, I think I wrote a script well. This lawyer Boala, I think was a spokesperson to former President Muhammadu Buhari, when he was saying, when he was not alleging, he was saying that if the appointment of the former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, to be an FCT minister is to demolish and witch hunt enemies and opponents. He said it's going to attract a lot of litigations of the court. To me, those are just what they are expected to do as ministers. What they are expected to do, their goal, and to follow it critically. They have to be very focused. If you meet nothing on ground, you can begin to set up your foundation as a minister and do the best you can. But there's no ministry that is going to say nothing has been on ground. We have power, for example, there is power in this country, but it is epileptic. So the minister that is coming to take over, I think that's the person of Adebayo, Adelabu.
Yes,
since he's going to come to since he's coming to take over power, he is expected to ensure that the power generation, the power distribution, all these critical infrastructures, they are working well. The truth is that for citizens, power is not the problem. The problem is the citizens paying for power and they won't have the power, to do the necessary things they required it for. That is the issue. Okay? Now, when Adelabu steps in, as from this moment today, after their inauguration, he is supposed to call all the stakeholders, all the critical stakeholders, to come together, and they should have a robust discussion. He should tell them about his goal. If possible, a minister can even tell Nigerians about his goal. Okay? When you tell them about your goal and tell them how you want to follow it. Okay? Now, you have successfully, created a big picture. By the time you are following it, everybody will understand what you are doing. We have the the power distribution and the transmission. These three critical companies, they should come together. Mr. Adelabu should call them, and tell them about his expectation. They should tell the minister incoming, that's the person of Adelabu, about their challenges. Then Adelabu should look at how he's going to resolve those challenges. He should present that to Mr. President for onward, action. These are the things we are expecting from them. They are not coming on board to just, relax and bear the title minister and travel around the world. That is not what we want at this moment. There was a time Nyesom Wike, the former governor of Rivers State, was alleged saying that he had not passed a night in Abuja once throughout his 8 years in office as a governor of Rivers State. That is what we are expecting from all the ministers.
Yes, that is what we're expecting from the ministers. We do hope that, like what you said, that they are going to adhere to these rules. Most time when like I said while you left the other time, that it will be better for us to even put a law, Mr. Mobile, that for instance you're in charge of power or you're in charge of the health sector. There should be a law that you don't have the right to go outside the country for your medicals. You don't have the right to take your children outside the country if you are in charge of education for their own education. Maybe this will help. They will not know the pains we're going through as a people, because that's where the issues are.
Do you think we're going to achieve that in the next 20 years? The senators should not go abroad for their medicals. Their family should not go abroad for their medicals. It's not going to be, that is a tug of war. They will not pass such a bill.
in charge of that ministry is what I'm talking about. For instance, now we have somebody like somebody now in charge of the ministry of somebody let's say power. Now there should be a law that you don't have any right to buy a generator to have solar. So you know the pains that Nigerians are going through. So just maybe each
That
time
is
they
what I'm saying now. You
come
see,
on
you
the
see, my dear sister Kess, you see, all these ministries, there are art establishing all of them. I hope you are aware.
yes, I'm aware.
There are acts establishing all the ministries. So if you go contrary to the act establishing a particular ministry, you could be taken up. It's likely going to be litigation in the courts. So
Why
the only people that are empowered to transmit that into law or translate that into law is the legislators.
It's what I was saying, Mr. Mobile. I think it's right time we start looking into some of these laws in a way that they will be beneficial to the people
So
and
do
to
you
the
think
nation
do you
as
think this legislator that we are seeing, these are our legislators, the senators and the House of Rep member, do you think they are ready to pass such bill at the it's not going to be.
well, we'll wait and see how that go as they are taking their oaths of office, the swearing. We do hope that from all you said, they should sit in their offices, they should attend to issues, critical issues, not flying from one place to another, not just sitting, laying about, doing nothing, or doing one project, and before you know, 4 years is gone. So we do hope that sincerely,
I think what you are saying now, the body language of Mr. President has a lot to do with the various ministries' performance. If they understand that this man is aggressive and is not.
okay, we have another network issues there, but thank God we're wrapping up the show. This is Mr. President, yes. Now talking about signing, we saw that happen hours to this swearing that is ongoing right now. That some of the portfolio, some of there's a little reshuffle there for the betterment, of course. And we do hope sincerely that they are coming in. We will bring the much needed change. We'll talk about now. A lot of people, why a lot of people are angry, some are sad, some too are keeping their fingers crossed that just maybe this will bring the much needed change we are talking about. And we do hope also that there's something I really want to say before I end my show today. You know, this money, this palliative, this money that is ongoing, I really do hope that this money will get to the people in need, people this money is supposed to get to. Now, not some 2, 3 persons sitting upon billions of nairas. Nigerians are going through a lot. I had a guest the other day that said Nigerians can barely eat twice a day, and this is shameful. This is not healthy for us as a people and as a nation. And then we hope that this money will get across to these people in need, these people that are supposed to get the money. And also to our new ministers, we know expectations are very high from us, the people. So you have to do all you have to do to make sure you keep the country running. And Mr. President as well, we believe in his judgment. We are standing with him because at this point we don't have any other choice but all hands must be on deck to make sure we move the country to the place we want it to be. Mr. Mobile, you're welcome back. Just before we let you go, Mr. Mobile, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Mobile. Can you hear me, Mr. Mobile? Okay, can you hear me, Mr. Mobile? Just before we let you go, can you hear me, sir? Okay, we have a little bit of issue there. I really wanted to throw a question to him as regarding the Sarah urging the president. Let's not forget that is on the headline this morning that Sarah urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure the stoppage of further collection of life pensions and other allowances of former governors who are now serving as ministers, making Wike their case study. Yes, Mr. Mobile, you're laughing. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me now, Mr. Mobile?
I can hear you. Of
Yes,
course.
just before we let you go, now there's this urge, the Sarah urged President Bola Tinubu to ensure the stoppage of further collection of life pensions and other allowances of former governors who are now serving as ministers in his administration from states while they are still serving as ministers. Now, they are making Wike Umahi a case study.
I I am of the school of thought that their pension should be temporarily stopped as
Okay,
governor, as former governors of those various states.
oh, okay. All
The
right.
truth about it is that
Yes, go ahead.
what they are doing is not very right as it relates to receiving pension as former governor and at the same time a serving minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I don't think that is good enough. It is a frivolous, wastage of their state resources. They should allow the state to have those resources and deploy them to other critical infrastructures. There are a lot to be done in those states. Any former governor that is on pension from their various states and at the same time a minister should at least, yeah, but that is why there are so many, vacuum in the constitution. All of this, even their state constitution, because they were influenced as at the time they were legislated. You don't have all of those things, embedded in their state constitution. Otherwise, why should they receive pension and at the same time they are receiving their wages as ministers?
As
That
the
is not good enough.
yes,
That's
that is
not good enough.
yes.
That's not good. It doesn't tell about a public servant. It doesn't tell about the nature, a good nature of a public servant. They are public servants. They are there to serve the people. They are not there to enrich themselves. They are not there to, and I know the person of Wiki. If you bring this suggestion to him, the former governor of Rivers State, he's going to tell you that his pension should be put on hold right there in Rivers State. I think that is his nature. The man has demonstrated over time that he's a public servant, and he has done that, often and often again. So, tell it, the truth about it is that it's the state judiciary, the state legislators, that's the state house of assemblies. They are the one to determine whether their former governors who are now ministers should continue to receive their, pension. They can do that. It's only the state assemblies that can, put a stop on that through their own, state legislation.
All right, Mr. Mobile, just a final question. Now, what's your suggestion on the 5 billion naira disbursement across state as palliatives, subsidy palliatives?
If you talk about palliative at the moment, it should not be the one we are going to consume immediately. Because if you are going to distribute that 5 billion across a state, you will know that what we get to a citizen will be nothing to service his basic needs for 3 days. That is to say, after 3 days, you have wasted the entire 5 billion disbursed by the federal government. So I am going to make a suggestion, which I have equally transmitted on my Facebook social media handle. They should deploy this money to critical investments in their various states. I am from Delta State, and I made a suggestion that our state governors across the Niger Delta should deploy that 5 billion naira to build a modular refinery. A modular refinery can give you up to 60,000, barrel per day They should do that, and within 1-2 years, that modular refinery can be put to use. It's going to create job. It's going to salvage, the needs of petroleum products of that state to a very reasonable extent, and is going to bring down the dependence on dollar. Because the fact about it is that if we successfully put all our refineries to work today and we cut off importation of petroleum products, you will see that dollar is going to have a free fall. I believe that these are just, elemental things that all these public servants, all these political public office holders know. And we are expecting them to begin to implement all these things. It was said that it was announced that by December, the Port Harcourt refinery is going to commence operation. Good and fine. But that should be around the 210, 1,000 barrel per stream day. So that is not going to take care of all our needs of petroleum product consumption in Nigeria. But to a very good extent, it's going to cut off a certain percentage, which will affect dollar to that little extent also. So this is a common reasoning, which we believe the political public office holders have at their disposals, and we wanted to implement them and make life better in this country. Nigerians are suffocating. The suffering is at the peak. That was why I said the elastic limit of Nigerians is almost exceeded.
Okay.
So we need a miracle. We need a magic.
We need a magic. That would be a good place to wrap up the show. We need a miracle now to our new ministers, to all of them. We need a magic. We need a miracle, because Nigerians are really under pressure. Nigerians are suffering. The masses needs help. And there is no other way, no other better place for us to wrap up the show. Please, the new ministers should take this home today. Mr. Mobile, thank you so much for being on the show this morning with us on the show Inside Nigeria. We're going to bring you back just maybe.
You're welcome.
We talked about the petroleum sector. We're going to bring you that on the show on that topic properly, sir. And
before you go, please let me give you little highlights.
Right.
Before I leave, please. I am a consultant on health, safety, and environment, and I got my accreditation from the Ministry of Health, NOSDRA. I got NIPES also, Nigeria Petroleum Exchange. NOSDRA is National Oil Speed Detection and Response Agency. So when you talk about the oil and gas, and I have been on this, training of HSE since 2012. That's to tell you that I have at least I have knowledge about the happenings in the oil and gas. And believe me, I am going to do a lot. I'm going to do at least reasonably when you call me to talk on anything oil and gas in Nigeria.
No problem, sir. We look forward to that particular program. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. We appreciate your time. Do have yourself a very beautiful day, sir.
And please, thank you very much for the moment.
Viewers will be speaking with Mobo Solomon, a public analyst, public affairs analyst. Of course, he's a health expert as well. Thank you for being on the show. Congratulations to us. Congratulations to Nigerians who have new ministers, but we do hope that they will hit the ground running immediately, and so that they take us to that place we want to be as the people. Until I come your way again, I remain yours truly, Princess Kessy. And please remember to share, like, invite somebody to the page. Follow us on all our social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Hit on the notification bell, and of course, drop your comments. We want to hear from you. Remember, peace is priceless, so let's always give peace a chance. Bye.
SR TV. Innovative content. Global audience.